live. This is the market update. Paging Jerome Powell. Cleanup on aisle 6. Amazon Prime Day, a bust. What does it mean for crypto? Crypto week coming up after Coinbase does a tweet with the American flag, say, let's pass and act. Big. What does it mean for Bitcoin? What does it mean for altcoins? Can altcoins take off more than one day? Want to see the charts? Hey, how about altcoins versus Bitcoin? Bitcoin dominance. All the charts that the Patreon group, both Platinum and the Spartans, got this morning. You're not going to believe what's going on here. MAGA hats on fire. I'm getting a little guff online. A lot of people think I'm to the left. That's actually not true. So you definitely want to pick up Patreon. And in the YouTube member area, every time this market went down, Toby told you to shop, and shop, right? The person who wrote the ultimate manual on how to understand crypto and AI with the book, Hackers versus Hedge Funds. We'll give you the link in the description down below or put it in the chat. In the meantime, believe it or not, Bitcoin may be a little frothy, which opens up the door for altcoins. Now, you're probably wondering, what is all this got to do? Like, how do you put all this together? Well, don't worry. If you keep watching this video, I will explain it to you. Let's start with the Fed. So the Fed is not friendly to the current administration. The Fed has completely screwed up on inflation, as you know. Now, to be fair, what the Fed is afraid of is a repeat of something that happens in the 70s, which was the Fed started to cut rates after they thought inflation was over, and then they wind up wrong, and inflation exploded. Then they had to do something crazy, like literally raise rates to 20% to stop it. That is probably why Powell is hesitating. However, what Jerome does not understand is that there's two types of labor markets in the United States. People who have jobs that are probably not going to lose them, but if you get pushed off the wagon and lose your job, you can't find another one because there's no job growth, which is the primary reason that he should cut rates, right? This whole thing about inflation is a function of what the federal government spends. He couldn't stop inflation if he wanted to be honest. It is what it is. What the problem is the labor market, and there's no growth in the labor market, and he's going to start taking heat over that. And the market is figuring that out, which is why it's up huge today, which is why, it took the market a while, right? First, Brian Armstrong comes out with the Made in America crypto, let's go, 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 go. Then Amazon Prime Day flops. To add to this, you have retail long all the wrong stuff. Did you know that NVIDIA now has a $4 trillion market cap? Because retail over in equities is just indiscriminately FOMOing in, basically ruining the lives of most hedge funds who are still bearish from the whole tariff thing. Still can't let go of that recession forecast. But with retail over in the equities pool, all of them, this opens up the idea that everyone is underinvested in crypto. Crypto, we all know, is the place where you can get outsized returns. And what happens when everyone in this pool comes over into the crypto pool? To the moon and beyond. Now, continuing on with Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin is going higher, but is Bitcoin going higher now? Are you getting the strategic Bitcoin reserve next week at, altcoin Lollapalooza, Cryptopalooza in Washington? I don't know. You haven't gotten anything you've wanted so far. Matter of fact, you've gotten just the opposite. Guys are literally lighting these red hats on fire. Now, I'm not saying I like that, but you got to ask yourselves, are you going to get everything you want next week? I think the focus should be, what are you going to get? Which is most likely favorable tax treatment on the American-made cryptos and perhaps altcoins in general. Because after all, Brad Garlinghouse is going to be in front of the Senate, laughably introducing these guys to XRP. So they're giving him an XRP commercial. This is not priced in at all. Matter of fact, what I've said all along is that the Solana ETF is not priced in at all, right? Because Solana is going to be a stablecoin haven, and the ETFs are going to soak up what the validators sell. So you've got this clean pocket in the middle of, when demand outstrips supply, Solana can fly. Catchy, right? Then, of course, there's ETH, which makes most of its revenue from stablecoins. And then the American-made cryptos, Hedera, Algorand, etc., which the Patreon group was loaded up on, right? Both in the Platinum group and in the VIP group, the Spartans. Loaded up. Rock and roll. Now, the burning hats. The burning question about the burning hats is, plus this thing about the Epstein, the files, right? How do they recover from this? I mean, the damage control, I don't know how they do it. The only way they can do it is a massive crypto pivot. And the way they do a massive crypto pivot, is as follows. The orange man comes out and goes, we want crypto as an industry. We want to own it. We want to grow, baby. We want to own this. And here are the tax treatment, and here are all the things that we want to happen. Then if he comes out with the sovereign wealth fund, if he says we're going to do tariffs and buy Bitcoin with the tariff money, forget about it. This market's going to just go berserk. But I think the major upside is in altcoins. There is some cringe going on in Bitcoin. Steak and Shake painting its, interiors orange. A Bitcoin treasury conference with everybody wearing matching orange ties. Yeah. Distribution by big players in Bitcoin. Why? Well, it's classic old school crypto, right? Bitcoin makes a new all-time high. Maybe if it breaks out, maybe it doesn't. I mean, it's currently pressing its premium zone on LuxAlgo. I've never seen anything go through its premium zone, ever. Now, what happens if Bitcoin just sits there and all the money from Bitcoin floods into alts? That's old school. Why not? Right? I mean, ETH, Solana, XRP, Hedera. I'm going to share the American-made cryptos on Lunar Crush, which is why you should stick around. There are a bunch of them, and you might go, I forgot about that. I forgot about, such and such a coin was an American-made crypto. Really? Such and such coin is an American-made crypto. 192 million in Bitcoin shorts just liquidated. Why were you short Bitcoin to begin with? Okay. Why would you why would you sell Bitcoin? I'll tell you why. Because when everyone expects Bitcoin to be stable, big players, they own Bitcoin, and what they do is they short sell bullish bets. I know it's a little complicated. It's called overwriting. If you go to Grok or any of these ChatGPT things and say, hey, what's overwriting? Okay. Overwriting means you don't expect it to go past a certain point. You're bullish. You're still bullish, but you don't think it's going to go past a certain point, like the all-time high. So when it goes past the all-time high, what do you do with the bullish bets that you're short? You cover. And that adds more buying pressure. Hence what's going on today. It's hard to believe that everybody was going to go into this crypto conference short, given that this administration is frankly on the ropes. The base is furious. I don't know if they're going to get the base back. They got to get the crypto bros and make them like permanently happy. Permanently happy. And how does that even work? Well, they got to do something next week. And I'm guessing it's favorable tax treatment for altcoins. And if that's not true, people are going to price it in. In other words, I wouldn't doubt if you have like a buy the rumor and maybe sell the fact, and maybe not. Maybe not, right? And even if there isn't everything everyone wanted, retail is in the wrong pool. Altcoin market cap, total 3, is worth $825 billion. So outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, Web3 is worth $800 billion. And a semiconductor stock, like a hardware-based stock, is worth $4 trillion. $4 trillion. Okay, great. Now, I'm not saying NVIDIA isn't worth $4 trillion, but what about crypto catching up, right? If you have equities and FOMO and froth over there and crazy valuations over there, why is Ethereum at 2,700? Why is Solana at 150? Are you kidding me? Solana could go back to 220, like quickly. And XRP could go to $5. Because if you're going to have an XRP ETF and then XRP, gets the blessing from either Congress or the orange man himself, right? XRP Ripple as a company could wind up worth a lot of money and get acquired. Or they may have the gusto to go public. I think it's an acquisition, but hey, look at this. See, this is how you know that all these guys in equities are covering. Total spot Bitcoin ETF volume passes 4 billion today. 4 billion. Yikes. And here was the tweet that got it going. Like, I saw this and I'm like, people don't know what this means. And I immediately did the 6th Street Crypto podcast where they got all of the charts of the altcoin versus Bitcoin before this thing took off. But when I saw this, I'm like, okay, it's game on for next week because he already knows. And now, most likely, when Bitcoin made the new all-time high, the word is out in the institutional community because, we're the last to know. We're the last to know, but this guy with the American flag, yeah, we are off to the races. CME ETH futures climbed 3.27 billion, its highest since February. This marks a clear uptick in institutional positioning. All right. So again, ETH in a range. The chart is almost boring. It's not almost boring. It is boring. The chart of ETH is boring. It's in a confined space. Confined space. So what are we doing in ETH? We're winding it up. Because of all the volume, right? All the volume is trading in this confined space. You wind up the spring and boom, it just goes. Just goes. And Big Rich is here going, yeah, go Solana. Solana hasn't moved in a year. You do understand that, right? Solana has not moved in a year. And now, there is a lot of cringe in Bitcoin. There's some cringe, right? When coffee shops start buying Bitcoin, things get frothy. Now, of course, the fact that Doomberg is bearish is bullish overall, but they have a point. They have a point, right? Michael Saylor, the Bitcoin Treasury Conference. Okay, the Bitcoin Treasury Conference. And here we are with two dudes with matching orange ties. And I'm like, look, yuck, 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 right? The innovator, Saylor, the imitator, Metaplanet. Are the idiots in? Maybe. But it's not bearish. Like, it was kind of supposed to get bearish like the last 2 days. What'd you get? A dip to like 104? No, you're not even 104, like 106. Toby told you this last podcast. She's like, I was like, yeah, there might be a dip. She's like, nah, I don't think so. And, one of the things, again, you want to get in the that platinum group because that day trading module for, the July preview had a nice upside target for Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes where that report says it's going, altcoins are going to be just on fire and nobody is invested. Like last night, I did a stream like emergency Ethereum update. And one guy comes on after, you know, admirably, he watched the stream and goes, "What's the emergency Ethereum news?" And I'm like, dude, nobody is long. Not in retail. Institutions are getting long. But are you telling me that within NVIDIA at 4 trillion, with NVIDIA at 4 trillion, that somebody isn't going to rotate over into any crypto, particularly if there's ETFs? Okay, breaking XRP news from the Eagle King. Let's get these guys off the screen. Let's get them out of here. Okay. It's time for fair and open playing field. Under Gary Gensler, it was quite the opposite. Brad Garlinghouse. Brad Garlinghouse discusses Ripple's new banking partnership. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, XRP has the ability to go a lot higher. A lot higher. I got a live stream talking about $6. Everybody thought I was crazy. Okay, bro. Okay. You can tell me how crazy I am about XRP at $6 or ETH at 4,000. I mean, look, when Ethereum goes, this is what we talked about last night. When Ethereum goes, it goes and goes and goes and goes. It was this way in 2021. It was this way in 2017. Like when ETH makes a decision, see it, gone. And, you know, in the YouTube member area, Toby's been telling you, right? Will Elon's new party ignite a crypto rally or a crash? You'll have to watch the podcast to to find out what she had to say about it. You can forget the bearish altcoin stuff. I mean, she wanted to buy small caps. She wanted to buy small caps when the market was like awful. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to talk about small caps. Guess what? If you had hoovered a lot of that stuff up, she picks it right on the screen, right? And there's a link. There's a $sign at the bottom of the chat. If you want to join, you want to come in, we're doing a show tomorrow. You want to come in, please. NFA, this is happening. This is happening. I mean, if you get half of what this market wants, because you've got nothing so far, this market gets half of what it wants for altcoins. This could be, you know, you could have a 10-day rip. You could do a lot in 10 days in crypto. A lot. Okay. You know, there are other smaller bullish news out there. Bunk.fun is taking over the Solana casino. Interesting, right? Pump.fun has a branding problem. Bunk.fun could be bigger than Pump.fun and not disgusting, frankly. And there's all kinds of stuff out there about like tokenized gold, right? I work with a company that's got tokenized gold once, and they're working on something else because they're not done yet. And I'm hot to trot for that. I'm hot to trot for that. The Solana ETF has like $80 million worth of inflows. Bitcoin Cash is above 500. You know what? Say what you want about Bitcoin Cash. That was the leading indicator. I don't know why. I don't know if Roger Ver is going to win his case. You know, I care about what happens to Roger Ver, but you know what? Give me a leading indicator. That coin told you that this was going to happen. Think about it. Normies are going to come into Coinbase, right? They're going to go, okay, NVIDIA, take profits. Everybody, you know, hey, let's go over here now. There's nobody left to buy equities. Nobody. And they're going to look at Bitcoin at 111K and Bitcoin Cash at 500 or Litecoin, and they're going to go, oh, yeah, this doesn't even mention Cardano. I mean, they were so depressed in Cardano that the Cardano Foundation started buying Bitcoin. I mean, when they get bearish, their own coin, it's going up. It's going up a lot, right? A lot. So, you know, again, if somebody finds a useful case for Cardano, healthcare rectors, if somebody finds a useful case for Cardano, like healthcare records, right? They call this bill the Crypto Market Structure Bill, okay? The Crypto Market Structure Bill, which basically means Gensler never comes back. There is no Gensler because crypto is legalized by Congress. There's none of this stuff where the SEC can come in and just start suing people, which is why Coinbase wants it so bad. And they're going to get that. Like, that's a given, I think. That's a given. They got the stablecoin bill. They're going to get the market structure bill. The orange man has to get it. I think that's why a lot of the sugar was handed out in the big, beautiful bill. Like, I'll give your district a bunch of sugar and you vote for what I need for crypto, because, you know, these guys are not stupid. There's a lot of bad optics on whatever they're doing. Truth be told, they knew they were going to do it. You know, the orange man was, you know, he was going to prison and his family was going to be in trouble. And he had a $400 million judgment. So for all the show and for all the talk, at the end of the day, it's about keeping himself out of jail. So the people who wrote the checks for the election, they're all going to get what they want first. And the base is furious. Fine. You know, honestly, you weren't the one going to jail. I think the interest to appeal the $400 million judgment in New York City was like $100,000 a day. Some crazy number. So I kind of understand the orange man making certain special interests happy. And now they did all that. They got all that out of the way. Everybody's upset, leaning bearish on them. And then they're going to come back and whoosh, here comes Cryptopalooza. And even if that's not true, even if they don't deliver, they got to price all that in. Yeah, they got to price all that in. All of it. Look at this. You know, this became a sector in January. Made in the USA. Some things you may have forgotten, right? Cardano, Litecoin. Okay. Algorand. Uniswap. You know what? The GAN model. Oh my God. Every time I asked, you know, hey, okay, let's get some altcoins. Uniswap, it's up 8% today. You know what I'm saying? Like, the market must watch the show. They must be in Patreon. Patreon Platinum. Boom. Right? Other things. Chainlink. Hedera. Anybody remember Hedera? All these layer ones? Ondo. When you see the Ondo chart, don't stick around for the Ondo chart. Because, I mean, again, if you were a corporation, right? Akash was breaking out. Near is for AI. Optimism is, you know, the little brother of Arbitrum. And don't forget about Aave, which never went down. Aave is in a perfectly clean uptrend. Let me ask you something. Where do you think all these stable coins are going? Where do you think they're going? And don't forget about Polkadot, right? Polkadot, XLM. I mean, we went through, you know, with Made in America crypto. I don't know what they call them. They call them dino coins, right? If the dino coins start rallying, what happens with TAO? If the dino coins start rallying, does Elon have to start buying Doge before Doge moons? Right? And somebody's talking about Injective. We will cover that. Hey, you know what? You know what Injective is, right? A super fast layer one. You know who might be interested in Injective? Machines. Because we haven't seen the AI moment yet. We haven't had the crypto DeepSeek moment yet. So a lot of times when the market flatlines, that behavior breeds itself. When the market starts breaking out, you have breakout. And this, frankly, is a breakout. Right? And don't forget, not to be outdone by Bonk.fun, but the event that may get it all going is Pumps Coin. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but this could be the thing that drives normies towards crypto, right? Oh, pumped up fun. You know, the stupidest things get people interested. Really, the stupidest things get people interested. Now, speaking of, this is not a stupid thing. Once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away, it's like 2018. So this guy is deceased, right? And Joe Rogan Podcast News, with 1.6 million followers, has picked up that, you know, John McAfee was deceased under suspicious circumstances. And so was this other individual that was mentioned yesterday. Now, that other individual was most likely a bad actor, and John McAfee wasn't. And I think his point is when that other person became a problem, he disappeared. And they hunted this guy all over the planet. He was the OG. You know what? His widow, Janice, is still around, and I interviewed her, and I'm telling you right now, she is great at interviewing. Great. She will tell you exactly what it is. And the meme coin associated with the AI agent. So John McAfee continues to talk as an AI agent. $3.4 million market cap. You know, one of the things that they promise you and you're actually getting is transactional freedom. They dropped the Tornado Cash lawsuit. Okay, Solana on a daily chart. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. And this, friends, I ask you, how is this not a cup and handle? How is it not a cup and handle? I mean, it could be a LuxAlgo triangle. You know, you're breaking out. If you look at the daily chart, equilibrium in Solana is at 195. Why is it at 150 again? Why is it at 150? Can anyone tell me? Why hasn't it moved in a year? Can anyone tell me? No, you can't tell me, right? It's like everyone gave up and then it just sat here. But meanwhile, LuxAlgo put a buy signal underneath this thing and it hasn't reacted yet. And on the daily chart, not only is there a possible cup and handle, but it's breaking out of a, you know, kind of a bull flag. Heidi ho, I'm in. Everybody got caught on this one. Everybody got caught sleeping. Everybody got caught. Like I said, last night, emergency live stream. Get involved. Aero, ETH, DeFi. Guess what? Hit support. Look at this thing. Hit support. And what happens if this flips bullish? What happens if they take out the 200-day moving average? Because you're undoubtedly looking at this thing, oh, wow, I really missed it. And I understand that because all coins really don't go up 2 days in a row. Okay. But what happens if it does? Right? What happens if, you know, hey, people are like, wait a minute. They got this big week coming up next week. I'm not going to fade this thing. I mean, Cardano is crazy. You got the LuxAlgo buy signal. It's currently trading at 62. Equilibrium is at 61. And to be completely honest with you, like this is everybody giving up on Cardano. Like, look at this. This is like down, 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 down. Straight down. June 25th, June 11th to the 25th. 2 weeks of straight down. So what could you get? 2 weeks of straight up. Speed, magnitude, and direction. What goes down one way goes back up the same way. I mean, Sui, are you going to fade this thing? Like, I don't think people understand that this Sui could wind up a stable coin highway. Besant wants $4 trillion running on stable coins. not tomorrow, but he wants 4 trillion running on stablecoins. How is that not ridiculously bullish? And then you move over to AI, right? You move over to AI. It's a pretty handsome looking cup and handle in artificial super intelligence token. NVIDIA is worth $4 trillion, right? And if you want to know about the future of AI, you better get invested in the decentralized version quickly, because Digital Dominion tells you, like in an extremely entertaining way, what the future looks like. Meanwhile, nobody thinks this is going up. TAO up 7%. And you know what? It hasn't taken out resistance yet. And this is the mind-boggling thing, because you haven't missed anything. A lot of this stuff is still at resistance. So I don't know. Maybe you want to buy it. Maybe you don't. But can you imagine what happens, right? In research, you get paid for imagination. Can you imagine what happens if you get this, right? If you get a breakout, you get a return move. I mean, a lot of times you want to be disciplined and wait for the breakout. You know, Akash, right? An American-made crypto. Big Rich says, super chat not working. All right. Well, sir, I definitely appreciate your desire to super chat. That's the YouTube back end. We'll look into it after the stream. You're probably looking for Deep. So let's do Deep, which is DeFi on Sui, right? You know, again, all of these coins, all exiting LuxAlgo formations. I mean, if you get back-to-back up days in all coins, you got a lot of room here. And Sui doesn't have that pink bar. Neither does Render. Why are we bearish Render again? Does anybody know? Does anybody really know why Render, everyone just completely packed it in down to the discount zone? It's up 5%. So what? So what? You know, this I think is what the whole market is eventually going to look like. Right? And guess what? Uniswap hasn't broken out yet. Uniswap is just headed, and I'm telling you right now what this is. I can tell you what this is. That's an accumulation cone. Okay, it's this. Because why? Why is it that way? Because if you were an institution and you were BlackRock and you were doing tokenized assets, or Brad Garlinghouse was introducing a banking deal or whatever, this is from the 20th century. You know, you bounce back and forth in this range and then boom. Uniswap. You bounce back and forth in this range. Just took out the 200-day moving average yesterday. Okay, Omni. Dude, like I said, totally a Dairy Queen cup that you threw out the window and then got run over by an 18-wheeler. That's the whole altcoin universe, right? If you look at Total 3, Total 3 just took out the 200-day moving average. Actually, it's been sitting on top of the 200-day moving average, which is called a bird on a wire getting ready to fly. And it's taken out the LuxAlgo pennant. And this is a complex head and shoulders bottom. So if this happens to take out $1 trillion, because again, what's $1 trillion between friends in NVIDIA? Over there at the equities pool, they're wearing lampshades on their head going, oh man, this is awesome. Let's get the meme stocks going. NVIDIA is a meme stock. Oh, okay. All right, bro. That's cool. You party on with that, but you realize if total crypto market cap still has 250 billion to get to 1 trillion, and if it happens to take out this neckline, it can go up another 250 billion. Right? Steve J and DeFi Perp. Same type of formation. Same type of formation. Chainlink, Aave, Sky, formerly Maker. I guess you think this can't happen, right? Bro, this can happen. This can happen. Why is Zebec moving? I don't know. Probably because the energy from the up move still exists. And then it went down. It hit the 200-day moving average and LuxAlgo support. You know, I don't sell LuxAlgo enough. And what I love about this, which is insane, is that on the give up trade, they took out the bottom. Like they had to do a little, they had to snap the glove on and do a little check. Blew out the bottom, and then they're reclaiming. So this, you know, this could go a lot higher. Altcoins outside, I believe, the top 10. Others. The bigger the base, the higher into space. Orange Man meme coin, top. Everything straight down. Range, winter, despair, quitting, done. Boom. Like they deliver next week. And I can't see how they can't deliver. How can they not deliver on crypto week? Because again, if you were BlackRock, right, and if you had an announcement to make, you would make it during crypto week because the media is all going to be covering it. Doomberg, everybody's going to be on it. Oh, law passed. BlackRock, Ondo, XRP, Solana ETF, Galaxy Digital, mergers and acquisition. I'm buying a miner. These things are already happening. Metaplanet is running around trying to buy somebody. And if you wanted to be on the Orange Man's good side, you would do something big during crypto week. So the Orange Man could go, see, look at us. Toby liked this, and so do I. Just Dario, this guy I know. He's actually a big antivirus guy too. Clearpool lending. Breakout up 10%. Why is it up 10%? Because everybody left it for dead. Nobody is long. Can you imagine what happens in virtual if they take out resistance? I mean, we could go on here. And then I think what you have to do, because this is what the Patreon guys got early this morning before the rally. Hello, is just have a laugh and look at Cardano versus Bitcoin. Like Cardano has done nothing. Cardano versus Bitcoin is where it was with the start of the cycle, basically. And there's a 13 bottom and room to go higher. And that's Cardano. That's right. That's like it's an American made crypto, but it's like the B list. Solana versus Bitcoin. Oh my God. Look at this. Run the stops. Little double check. 13 bottom. Reclaim. Retest. Boom. How high can this go? I mean, this was the Orange Man top where we anticipated everything that you might get next week. Why is this down again? Oh, I see. Because Bitcoin, it's a one coin market and it's only Bitcoin. Oh, okay. Of course. Yeah, it's fine, right? Of course. We know where Bitcoin is going, but Bitcoin dominance is topping with dudes on a treasury company show wearing matching orange ties. Whoo! I would say Bitcoin dominance down to 60, if it's okay with you. Meanwhile, back at the macro ranch, interest rates went down. Everyone's like, well, DeStan Druckenmiller, Ray Dalio, we're all going broke. So interest rates go up after the big, beautiful bill. And everybody's like, wow, no one shopped on Prime Day. Prime Day is like 60% off. No, thanks. I'm good. Interest rates, boom. Kind of hard to argue with that. Kind of hard to argue that, Powell does not have to cut rates for the bond market to start lowering rates. And then back at the foreign exchange ranch, so everyone's like, oh, yeah, precious metals. Precious metals are great. But it's at the premium zone. Precious metals, Bitcoin, gold, all at the premium zone. Yeah, we could look at NVIDIA too if you want to have a laugh, right? Like, NVIDIA, let's see, $4 trillion market cap right in the middle of the premium zone with every single LuxAlgo's like, get out, get out, get out, get out. Okay, well, it's not going down, and I get it. But, you got to ask yourself, MicroStrategy, which, as we have discussed, everyone is short. Boom. How about the premium zone at $5 and we just completely blow out the shorts? Just blow them out. Okay. Omni, a Coinbase coin. Watch out for Coinbase coins. Good God. Look at this. I mean, can you even see where it is? I mean, for Omni to get to resistance, it's got to go to $1.17. I'm sorry, it's got to go to $1.70. Currently, it's at $1.52. You had the LuxAlgo reversal signals here, and then it just continued to be weak. Like, I don't know what this is, but how is it not going up? I tell you what, if you want to look at a coin, because YouTube Platinum is looking at a coin, just saying. I think the Spartans of Patreon got it too. You start taking out these resistance zones and these AI coins, you are going to have a gangbuster rally. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you do not want the Skynet crowd running AI. You just don't. And if you read this, you're going to find out why. You're going to find out what that hedge fund was doing with artificial superintelligence. And you won't sleep at night until you see the heroes that save the day. Ronin. Still in the discount zone. Right? So you got this big spike. Bag holders get out. Right? Nice LuxAlgo buy signal. Get the little pause. If you have a coin, you got nothing to lose by sticking with it. Not investment advice. This is not investment advice. This is opinion. I'm supposed to say that at the beginning of the show. Dino coins next week. Watch out. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Little redraw, if you don't mind. That's a diamond. And this is exactly what happens when you break out of a diamond. You just go vertical. Through the 200-day moving average, LuxAlgo inserting support underneath. And with the diamond, your target is, the width of the points from the point of the breakout, which puts Stellar at 38 cents. And if we're going to do that, we might as well go to the top of the LuxAlgo, like alligator formation here. Might as well go to 45 cents. And you're like, that's ridiculous, is it? This January. In other words, what happens if they actually deliver on this stuff next week? I don't see how they can't. How can they not deliver? Look at this. I mean, they must deliver on this stuff. They must. This is what the base is doing. So, you know, the guy I watch, he's doing it tonight. What you don't think they don't see this? They see it. Look at this. Right? Orange Man, the hero, the hero, the hero. Whatever these files were, right in the Achilles. Ouch. The Orange Man does not like to look bad. He doesn't. Somebody from the YouTube member podcast will tell you that. Like if you listen to that podcast, you knew what was going to happen here. Hence the emergency live stream last night for Ethereum, which is a great way for you to get reminded to subscribe to this channel, turn on alerts so you know when we're going to give you the great stuff. And I'm still trying to get to 200 likes on a stream. So I would appreciate it that everybody on this stream hit the like button and everyone who watches it later to hit the like button. XRP versus Bitcoin. Do you need to read a technical analysis book to see that this is a rounding bottom and that the amount of outperformance for Bitcoin versus XRP is unbelievable? It's unbelievable. Algorand versus Bitcoin. You know, Algorand was originally a Wall Street darling for security tokens. ICP. Oh, God. Love it. Try ICP. Look at this give up trade. You know, any further decline in ICP would probably give you a bottom. But if you look at how this is downward sloping here, it's suppressed. And after all, I don't know if this is American made or not. I don't know if it is. I'm telling you, man, you got to watch out for this AI trade. Because, you know, DeFi would break out and then the rest of this stuff could just indiscriminately break out. Back to ETH. Okay, so ETH, big picture. They had to take ETH down to the 2017 high because there's no use case, right? Even though that network makes most of its money from stable coins. ETH versus Bitcoin improves and goes in a square range. And what I can tell you from having charted the entire history of ETH by hand is that when you get square ranges, when you get the ensuing up move, it's crazy, crazy. Okay, wild, the DeFi coins. I don't know if this is metaverse. Can't get out of the discount zone or hasn't gotten out of the discount zone. You know, every time there's a particular sector that keeps showing up on the YouTube member podcast. Hopefully that's working. Scan the QR code that the Eagle King will give you, right? Scan the QR code and come on and be a member. It's like 1/4 of whatever people are charging. Live AMA, news updates. Is it bullish or is it bearish? And live coin picks on the small cap side. We will have a show tomorrow. Please FOMO in. And then we have Patreon. We have a $25 option and we have a platinum option where you're getting unbelievable output from a GAN model, which, like Toby, hasn't really been wrong about anything. And of course, you want to have your book. So you can have fun and trade at the same time. Uniswap heading for up 10%. Somebody asking about Prime. This reminds me of the altcoin overtime days. This is altcoin overtime. Prime, Echelon Prime. Everyone packs it in. LuxAlgo buy signal like 10 days ago. No one wants to trade it. Bag holders sell. Boom. I mean, again, these things, all of these coins, the distance to equilibrium is incredible. So it's almost like you want to like buy breakouts. And the way you figure that out without looking at the same stuff everyone else is. Nope, that's not it. Is you do Fibonacci speed resistance fans. So if you get a breakout here at 250, you can expect $3. AO Computer. By the way, if you'd like to get priority on comments, assuming it works and you know you're not rolling in money, you can get a special emoji that the Eagle King can see on the screen to get priority on comments. You know, again, straight down, right? The give up trade from June 11th to June 25th. They're still trading the geopolitical event. Now, hopefully there isn't another geopolitical event. My advice would be to make money while you can. DGen, Farcaster, different kinds of social media. Did you see that the Twitter CEO quit today and Mr. Beast wants the job? Not sure anybody wants that job with how he's mouthing off. Not interested in the crypto bro party, by the way. Right? He has a presidential candidate. You know, he thought he was buying himself a presidential candidate this time around. Next time, he's going to make sure he buys one. No thanks. He's not interested in AI John McAfee. You know why? Because he's afraid of him. All the tech bros are afraid of him. Until Janice winds up on Joe Rogan. Okay, Syrup, formerly Maple. You know, just keep it simple. Nice little trend line. You know, Syrup and Clearpool are kind of in the same bucket. How is all this stuff not going up, even if Syrup has outperformed? Right? Hourglass, you're late. No, you're not, dude. You're never too late. You're never too early. You're right on time, dude. You're right on time. Plume. Down today. Look at everyone just packing it in, right? Bag holders probably selling. Again, don't know anything about it. You know, it's outperformed, so it's coming off when the rest of the market goes up. I mean, I don't want to be in love with everything, but if you like it, I don't see why you wouldn't give it a shot at getting back to resistance, especially when next week they're kind of backed into a corner. They're backed into a corner. Okay, let's wrap it up. They have to do something next week. They have to do something. They have to get a private sector announcement. None of this, oh, well, you know, we love crypto. No. I think Brian Armstrong already knows what they're going to get. Somebody is celebrating the Bitcoin all-time high. Don't wear a lampshade on your head. That's never good. But you can be happy because I think the Bitcoin all-time high is going to trigger a massive altcoin breakout. Because you cannot possibly tell me that NVIDIA is worth $4 trillion and the rest of the crypto market is just not worth anything. I mean, obviously, with the AI build out, I mean, those guys are going crazy. They're going crazy, trying to win the race to build Skynet. But in the meantime, it's not really profitable. Meanwhile, again, back at the finance ranch, stable coins are running. They want stable coins higher, the volume. You have all these layer ones that can run it. Somebody's going to figure out decentralized AI is a good idea. How does this not produce higher prices across the altcoin universe? Even if it's for like a 10-day sprint. Even if it's for a 10-day sprint. Right? I mean, they can price it all in for next week and then evaluate it when the time comes. Big Rich got the cigar and the banana zone. Plume is an RWA play. I forgot the Ondo chart, which is really unbelievable, right? Remember all this stuff like, oh, Ondo is going to change the world. BlackRock's coming on chain. Can you even tell it's up today? Not really. LuxAlgo's digging it with this little buy signal, but none of this stuff has done anything at all. I mean, I could go on. I mean, we have DPIN reports. Did you know DPIN primarily runs on Solana? When the GAN model told me that DPIN runs on Solana, I was like, oh my God. Because, I mean, nobody doesn't like DPIN. I mean, if you don't understand DPIN, it's okay. But it's like, you know, it's a great thing for the decentralized world in terms of sharing hardware computing power. Decentralized physical infrastructure. Running on Solana. Oh, okay. We don't like Solana? Why? Why don't we like Solana? I don't know. Probably because this market is depressed. People are depressed. I mean, people really, really, really are depressed. And, you know, like I said, the Orange Man's base yesterday, all the big commentators all turned on him. They all turned on him. And, you know, Besson and these guys have a history of getting everybody leaning bearish. Everybody's upset. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, back the other way. Whoa, look what we got for you. They did this with crypto, right? Frequently, it would start with an Eric Trump tweet. Nice guy, I'm sure, but I don't want to hear from him. I don't, right? I don't want any more cringe. I don't want any more grift. I don't want to hear any more about World Liberty, although World Liberty is long ETH. It's long SEI. It's got Avalanche in it, which is security tokens. Why aren't we buying this stuff again? Seriously. You got to look at the chart and go, why is it down? Oh, there was a geopolitical event 2 weeks ago. Oh, that's why it's down. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay. I'm not Bruce or Cliff likes the monologues. Yes, thank you. We're doing just enough screen share to give you context and charts. We are trying to move to monologuing after this one guy that I watch on Rumble. This guy monologues for like 3 hours. I'm like, oh my God. If he's doing 3 hours, me and the Eagle King got to figure out how to do 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So I'm glad you like the show. Hitting the like button is great. Patreon and the YouTube member area and the future of crypto await you at 1/2 of the price of many private groups. That's the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.